Hi everyone. Welcome to another session for our dashboard replication. So while I'm browsing the some YouTube channels regarding some dashboard creation, I encountered this one from Kevin Stratford. So I was impressed that it was in Excel. So this dashboard is actually in Excel. And as you can see, this is very impressive as it is super hard to do this in Excel. I've started my data analysis using Excel and dashboard creation, but it's really hard doing this kind of dashboards in Excel as it has some limitations with regards to available visuals, and there will be a lot of work when it comes to formatting this kind of um, visuals for each element, especially this goods chart or donut chart in Excel. So let's see on how Power BI can do this from this Excel dashboard. So what we can do is check the data. So this is the link of the data which I will also put on the description below. And so there are a lot of steps leading to this dashboard creation. So this is a 2 video series. And okay, let's try to do this also in Power BI and let's compare it. So the data is this one. So it's the customer satisfaction for each product and based on the acquisition type. So what's the performance per delivery performance, the revenue gathered from each acquisition campaign. So let's load it in Power BI. So let's get this data first. But before we load it, let's check first what is the data types of this data. So we have here the date. It was classified as date. The price is whole number, units, revenue, on text. And this one, we need to clean this one up. We need to separate the numbers and the satisfaction ratings. So what we can do here is to split it by delimiter. So we'll use the parenthesis for this delimiter, but we need to input each character for this kind of approach. Then we don't need this because it will return as blank. Then I saw something here to separate the digits to non-digit. Let's try this one out. So now we have the customer satisfaction CSAT ratings rate. Then again, we need to clean this one up so that we will only get the classification, CSAT classification. Another delimiter for the closing parenthesis. Can we add a space? No. Then we'll remove this one again. But this one still has some space before each word. And I don't like that, so we'll still split it up by the space. So we'll use the leftmost delimiter so that the two words will not be split up into two fields. CSAT class. Then we'll rename this as raw data. Then we can load it up. So while it's loading, let's see what are the elements needed for this dashboard. Oops. Let's have a screenshot of it. Now what's happening? It's blurred on my side. Okay. So we have here a trend line chart, a map. So we have 1, 2. Then we'll do this first, 3. Donut chart for on time and returns. So I can't see much of the target. I think it's 20%, 70% and 8%. So it's 70 and 8% for the returns. Then this is a waterfall chart. And finally, the 100% stock bar chart. No, it's 5. So we only have 5 visuals here and some slicers. So let's go. Let's try to do this first. So we'll just have a line chart. Oops. With those dates. So we only need the year and the month. Then we'll add the revenue. Revenue. So we'll do the cleaning later for on the design part. So we are done with this. Next will be the map visual. So what we can do here for the state, we can declare this as a data category as state, so that when we use it as a value for the map, Power BI we will help Power BI to automatically detect it as a state. So now it was changed to a um, globe icon. So when we drag the location here, Power BI will detect it as state, which is what we see here. Then the color saturation will be the revenue. So the default will be revenue for now. Then we'll place it around here. And have some room for the satisfaction score. Next will be the donut chart. So for us to get the on-time percentage versus the overall, we need to have the revenue and what type of it? Delivery performance. So it was on time and delayed. Then we can show the details instead. Data and a category and percentage of total. Then we'll delete the legend. But since we are only focusing on the on-time percentage, we can also remove this and just have it colored. Let's retain those and have it grade for the other. So this will be on-time percentage. But since we don't have a call out for the percentage, we can use this one and have the revenue here. And we can't do the percentage without creating a measure. I thought I can do that. Let's create a measure table. So I always put one underscore for the measure table that I had, so that all my measures will be on the top. Next, we'll create a measure. So before, this is what I'm doing with by calculating the on-time percentage. So what do we need for that? We need the total number of on-time instances. So we need to calculate the number of instances. So we don't have a row ID or a primary key for this one. So we can use anything for this field. And we need to use the count. So for this one, since we are focusing on the customer acquisition, we can use this one and filter out based on delivery performance, which is on time. So to check, we can use this, the table view and delivery performance, then drag this customer acquisition and have it count. So this is the number of instance for each um, delivery performance. So if we drag on time here, it will be 3889. And then, so how do we get the total number of instance? So we need again to create another measure, which is the total number of instances for the row for our row source. Total transactions. So equals count of customer. And this should return as 5780. So now we get those, then we will divide it by to get the percentage. So we will need to create another measure. So we've done 3 measures here. So this is on time percentage equals divide on time and the total transactions. And we'll just format it by percentage. Then let's check the numbers. So it's 67.28. Let's double check it on this table. So show value as calculation from the percentage of grand total. So it's 67.28. So for us to be able to calculate the on-time percentage, we need to create 3 measures here. But when I learned this one, we can do that on a single measure. All of the measures that we have created. So it will save you time for creating these 3 measures. Dynamic uh, new on time percentage. So we will declare a variable. Instead of creating another measure, we will create a variable for this one. So on time, any words. So it doesn't accept the hyphen underscore time equals calculate. So same as what we did on the previous measures. Calculate count of customer where delivery is equals to on time. So it will be saved within this measure. And as far as I know, it also helps Power BI save the processing time. And total transactions will be count of customer position. Then we'll just return what we needed for this measure. So the return will return only those measures or formula that we will be putting on this after the return function. So we'll just divide the on time. Nope, not this one. The green one. This one. So as you can see, there is a icon here of xy. It indicates that this is the variable that we created above total. Unlike the one that we created on the measure, which is on time. Like this one, we can see that the icon is the same as this one, like the calculator. So this is not the variable that we created above. So we'll use those icons that we created above, or variables that we created above. Then we'll change it to percentage format. Then let's try to drag this inside here. So as you can see, it produces the same, but we will only have one measure for this approach. So we'll delete. So we can use this one again later. But for this one, we'll have it a little smaller. Maybe 20. 20. It's too small. So we'll leave it there for now. Next will be, what's the next one? The returns. So we'll just duplicate this. So we will save some time. Then instead of delivery performance, it will be return. So no and yes. So we will focus on the yes percentage. Okay. So we'll leave the color, the default color for that, of that for now. We'll do something else later. So we will create again this kind of measure for the percentage of returned products. So declare a variable return is equals to, oh, so it's a reserved word as we are using the return also on this formula. So let's use this one instead. Ret calculate count of customer or what type of that return is equals to yes. And for you to be able to go to the next line, I forgot to mention, you need to press the shift key and enter. Because if you just enter, it will run the calculations that you've had. So I click enter, and as you know, it returns an error and let me out on the formula um, pane. So let's do it again. Total transactions will be count of customer. Then return. So this is the reserved word. Shift, enter, divide, return, and total. Format it. And we'll reuse this one. So now we have those elements on our dashboard. And now the problem of this one is we have a target. So as stated before, we have a target for the following. On time should only be around 70%. Where's percent target? And the return should only be at 8%. But with this visual, we can't see how close or how far we are with the target or how we are performing. So what I can recommend with Power BI, using Power BI, is to use this gauge chart instead. So it will produce the same result, but it will also show you the actual target and how close and how far you are with your um, target. So how does it work? We need to get the target value, or we can just declare it on the settings. So for this one, on time, so we already have this measure on time. No, we need the percentage, or the one that we created. So we have a 67% current on time percentage. So what will be the target value? So we can assign it on the settings, go to access, and put the 0.70 as target. or 70%. So now we have a clear view of how far or how close we are with the target. So the target of 70% on time percentage should be above the target. But since we are still below it, we can do this dynamic colors, which is only available in Power BI. So we can assign a condition, or maybe there is a function in Excel. Please let me know on the comments below if you know some functions in Excel that also has this capability. So if the value of the on-time percentage is greater than or equal to 0, but less than 0.7, as we have here number, it should be in red. But if it's 0.70 and less than the 100%, less than or equal to, should be green. Not sure why green is not available on the default colors in Power BI. Let's use some more darker green. So Power BI will automatically detect if your current value is below or above the target that you set. So this is one way to visualize this target in Power BI. Same with the returns. So I'll leave it there also for you to compare. What is it again? Return percentage. So it's currently at 10.31, but the target that has been set is only at 8%, 0.08. So for this one, the lower the number, the better. But currently, it was higher from the target. So what we can do is set it up again, because the function is based on the visual that we copy. So we'll use the return percentage, and instead of this, we'll use 0.08, and it should be green. And if it's 0.08 above, it should be red. It will stay as red as it is. Oh, why? 0.08, not 0.80. Okay, so both are beyond the target. Let's have this removed. What's the next element? Is the waterfall chart per category, acquisition type. So we have your waterfall chart. The category is this, customer acquisition, and the value is revenue. So it's just show how it contributes to the total number of revenue. So it has the same size. Okay. Now for the last visual, which is the customer satisfaction, we need to have this 100% stack bar chart on this side. Then, okay, let's try to add what is that? Mm, the axis is the product. So how satisfied are the customers per product? And the values are the rates. Now the legends are the class. But as you can see, these are sorted alphabetically. High, low, okay, very high, and very low is not the correct um order. So what we can do is add another table for this. So it should be, what's a hierarchy for this one? First is very low, low, okay, high, and very high. So we'll do this. CSAT, CSAT class and sort. So we have very low, one, low, two, okay, three, high, four, very high, five, sort, CSAT class. So I always put some naming type so that the table will be sorted out and it will be excluded from your original data sources. Because when your tables or database or data model becomes very large, you'll have some hard time managing those tables. So make it a habit to put some tagging on your tables on how do you want to manage those tables so that you won't get too overwhelmed with the data. Let's set the sort by the sort column and link it on our data model. It's already linked. So when your field name has the same field name from the other table, Power BI automatically detects that it has relationship. But be careful with this automatic detection of relationship because it might mess up some of your data in the future. So make sure to check all your data connection or relationship on your data model. And another tip on this view. So for us to be able to create a new table, we add a field which is required. You can also hide it here. So now when you go back on your visual view, Let's wait for it to be hidden. Now it's hidden, as you can see on the icon. When we go back here and check the data in here, you won't see the dummy field that you've created. And another thing for organization of your data, for example, these are um, measures that you created for a specific category. For example, this version is on time. You can also group it by a folder. So you can put on time on the display folder for the measures that you highlighted. And once you click on the outside, it will create a new folder for those measures so that your data will be grouped, so that when you have multiple measures created on your different tables or in this measure table, you will have you can easily detect which measures are correlated. You can also do that on your original table. So we can also group this one, CSAT. So this will be useful for large amount of data. So that's a tip for you for today, for this session. Now going back to this. So the table that we created and sorted by the sort number, we will drag it as the legend. So now it's sorted the way it is. Very low, low, okay, high, very high. So let's just, I don't know why Power BI mm, have the default of showing the access names. I kept on turning it off. I haven't seen the settings on how to turn it off on my every project, but I don't like those titles because it's quite redundant. It's already on the title header above. Ano? Then we'll put the legend below center, bottom center. Then adjust the data colors. So red for the very low season, a lighter red for low. Okay is neutral, so we need to have a neutral color, which can be this one. What did I pick? Then high will be somewhat green, but quite lighter. Maybe this one. And very high is green, darker green. So now we have completed those elements. So what's next? I think there is a switch button here to switch between the revenue and the units. So I will share you two approach. on how you can do this. So first, for the simple one, let me save it first before it crashes. So this will be Excel dashboard replication. So let's name this revenue. So this will be the revenue page. Then we'll duplicate this one. And named it units. Then we'll add a button. Maybe a shape. Because shapes can also be considered as button here. So we can do some switch here. So this is revenue. And let's copy this one. And this will be units. So this will be grayed out. We'll turn off the outline. So this is for the units. Let's copy again. And paste it here. So duplicating the page will give you an illusion that it was still the same page. So let's reverse it here. Then we'll assign an action. Page navigation. And indicate the page where you want it to go. It will be on the units. Then for this one, we'll do the same for the revenue. Action. Page navigation, then revenue. So let's try it out. So when you are testing in the Power BI desktop, you need to use the control before you click on the buttons that you created. So control click, it will go to the first page. As you can see, it will be the revenue option. And when you click the units, it will bring you back to the units. But I still haven't changed the values. So this will be units, remove the revenue. Same for this one. And this one. How about this? It's a rating, so it doesn't affect. So let's see if we have some differences. It's just loading differently on my side. And not differently, slow. So that's how you create those page navigation. This is the first approach. Then for the second approach, we'll duplicate this one. So this is the second approach is by using a dynamic measure. So we will have a single visual, but instead of creating this buttons, we'll remove this one. And this one. So we need to create a new um, table for the values that you want to be included on the selection. So for this instance, it was revenue and units. So the measure should be either revenue or units. Mm, measures. So this will be another floating table, or it does not doesn't have any relationship with our row source. Hmm, let's have it named differently. Measure selection. And then we can use a simple slicer for this one. And drag the measure here. Then let's format it horizontal. Then we will turn off the header and we'll have it single select so that we have a default selection for each. Maybe let's increase the size of the labels. Okay. So as you can see, if we select both or either of the two, it doesn't affect the current visual that we have because it doesn't have any relationship with the visuals. So for us to have those relationship, we need to create a measure. So another measure. Okay. It will be dynamic measure is equals to, hmm, let's declare a variable which is the select. So what is the selected measure? Hmm. Selected value based on the table that we created. So the measure field from the measure selection table. Oh, I accidentally click the enter button. So it will return. Now we have a syntax error here. So maybe this is a saved word, but let's see. So next is the revenue. So for the revenue, how do we want it? It's the sum of the revenue. The next variable will be units. It's the of mm, sum of the number of units. Then we will return only what is being selected. So if selected value is equals to revenue, then it will return the revenue sum. But if the selection is equals to units, it will return the units calculation variable that we have above. So if revenue, if the dynamic, measure selection on the filter is selected as revenue, we will return the sum of the revenue. While if it's units, we'll return the sum of units. Then we'll hit enter. Now, instead of using the actual revenue from the raw source, we will just use this one. Let's just return it back to the revenue, our default value. So let's drag it here. So it will produce the same because it's the revenue. We won't have any differences or variances. Same with this one. We'll use the dynamic measure. So now let's see some magic once we select the units. Now we can see the moving of each element here in these three visuals when we select a different measure. So now the user of the report or the viewer of the report will see the difference between the two. between the two measures that you are referring to. Do you think this is a good idea for your future projects? What do you think? Please let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to put some comments and like below if you think this will be a good approach. And if this is an easy one, instead of using Excel, which has a different some sort of formatting functionality and very complex, or by using Power BI, which has all the dynamic capabilities with rich visuals. So that's it for now. And please let me know. And please click like and subscribe if you want to know more tips and tricks on using Power BI as your tool for data analysis and dashboard design. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, so now we will be designing our dashboard. So let's try to copy this first so that we have a pattern. So now that we have a pattern, we will get those color scheme that has been used. So we will use this eyedropper tool to get this color scheme. So currently what I should have done was use these elements since Power BI don't have a gradient tool. So for example, let's format the color. Instead of just solid, we can do a gradient fill, and we'll just have to remove those. Oops. And just use more eyedropper tool to get the same color pattern or gradient for our dashboard that we are replicating. Oops, no. Should be this one. And then what I should have done was just get this element and save as picture. But currently, I'm not sure what's happening on my laptop, but it won't let me save those elements from PowerPoint so that I can convert it into an image file and um, upload it in or import it in Power BI. So what we can do for now was just use the simple box. Just use this basic color element. But you can do that as well by just importing all the design that you have in PowerPoint and bring it up to Power BI. So the reason why I use the eyedropper tool is to get the color hex, the hex code, so that when we go here, so we'll use this dynamic measure as our base design. And instead of this donut chart, we will use this one instead because it's more um, informative than the other one because we have a target here. and we'll bring it up. Then you can also highlight all the elements here and maybe bring it down a little bit more. Then we can choose some of these shapes here, the basic shapes, and just put it as a header. Then let's fill it up with the hex that we've had copied from the PowerPoint. So that's one of the tricks on how you will get those exact color scheme for the one that you've been doing or the one that you will be replicating, especially if your dashboard is for a client. So normally clients would like a color based on their color scheme. So it will be more pleasing to their eyes, especially the management, when they saw the report and you use their color scheme, they will love what you did for the dashboard. Then we'll add some text. So before we can have a separate text for the shape, the text before don't have the option to add text. But on this update, so make sure that you have the latest Power BI update. Then you can add text directly. Customer success dashboard. So it's white. So as you can see, we have limited font style here. You can use the font style in PowerPoint to migrate it in Power BI also. So you can add the text here using the fonts available in PowerPoint, which has a lot more options. Dashboard. So like this one, make it this white, then bold. Then you can select whatever font themes that you want because this has a lot more options than in Power BI. Can use this one. And when you save it as an image, you just need to select both element, then save as image, then import it as an image, actual image here instead of this. So that's one of the tricks. Hope you like it. 30. Then for the background, let's see. So he used some building image with some dim colors. So if you want to get some free high resolution pictures, you can use this pexels.com. You can search for whatever pictures available here. It's free. You can download a very high definition pictures from this website. So I've chosen something like a building. So let's create a blank. So let's see, where did I put that? So I've already downloaded an image here, large icon. This one. So as you can see, this is a very high resolution image. So what we need is to have it dimmed. Let's see. So we can just have a somehow like a black and white, maybe this one. And to make it a little darker, you can also insert a shape. Maybe this one, and increase the transparency. Not violet, maybe black. Then we can also do that for the background with the same transparency, 78. Then since I can't save it, I'll just need to snip it. It's still violet, right? To black. Maybe this one. So for now, I'll be using a snipping tool. But as I've told you, you can save the image yourself. So where is the background? After that, I can now import those image as our background. So currently the default was 100% transparency, but we can adjust this one. Oops. Let's remove the outline. Okay. Then after that, what else do we need? So we need to fix some formatting here. So this will be the sales. You can remove the title and place a shape instead so that you have a more visually appealing title. Then you can also import some icons from PowerPoint also or other websites for custom icons. So let's try to have it on data background. So if we also choose violet for this one, then we will use a light colors for our labels. Then lighter blue, like this one. Then we can also change this one. So we will have some sort of invisible icon if we use the same color, same as a background. So this is by units. So if we choose revenue, then the background of the unselected measure will be some like invisible. So we can also do the same here. So that the effect will be, it's a full one visual. Then I forgot the title. So we can also insert some shapes again. So it should be contrasting. So what is used? A gray one. Then we can insert some icons. So I've already had some icons here, which I used on my previous dashboards. So let's try to insert an image. No, not text box, but an image. So already have some icons here. Maybe for sales, so that we have some sort of um, positive prediction. We can use this one for a trend of going up. So when you save an icon from Power BI, you will use the PNG file type so that when you import it, it will be the background will be transparent. You can check my first videos, my previous videos, where saving from PowerPoint is still working. I still haven't figured out why it won't let me save Then this one, we need to pop it up and have it on the same height. So this will be customer satisfaction. Color. Then let's turn off the title again and let's copy this one. So let's see if we have an icon that will fit to this one. Hmm, maybe this one. So next, so if you have two visuals with the same type of visual, so you can multiple select it and you can format it at the same time. So you won't need to do those what we are doing independently. Then what else? We can also add this box type so that it will have the same, maybe same size from the others. So we can insert a shape here. So we need to be consistent with regards to shapes. So if you are using um, corners with sharp corners, you will use all square type or rectangle type or sharp corners for all of you or your visuals. But if you want to have some sort of what do you call that, some soft edge when you use some border, the border ranges, then you will also do the same in all of your visuals. Then for this one, we'll use is violet. As you can see, it's in the front, so we'll use the selection tool. And let's put it all the way to the back. Now we have those. So it overlapped. Now we have grouped this elements. So it's the deliveries. So it's a target deliveries. This is the target. Then the last one will be customer acquisition. So as you can see, we don't have a space for our title. So let's see. And also on this one, let's try to solve that one. But first, let me turn off the access titles. So the only way we can bring this back somewhere around here is to have a title. But currently, we want this kind of titles to be consistent. So let's try to bring it more back or down. Maybe let's try to add. So it won't accept a blank title. Maybe an underscore, space, underscore. Then we will cover this one up. So how do we cover this one up? We'll use the same color as the background. The font color should be the same as the background. So we'll have an invisible title here. Or we can use the default. Let's revert it to default. Then increase this by 20 so that we will have more room. And the same, let's vanish the background by using the same color as the background. So now we have space for our title. This will be customer acquisition. This one. We can use this one again. I should have copied what I have on the customer satisfaction. Then we'll do the same here. Let's revert the title again. Let's turn it on. Now we have a space. Now this is more clean than what we have um, before. Then what else? So as you can see on this, he has this slicers, which are the date, years, product, customer acquisition, and state. But in Power BI, we can have those slicers hidden. So how do we do that? Um, First, we need to have something like a grouping element for our slicers. So let's add something here. And it's the same violet again, but this one will add some outline. Maybe this blue. Let's see. Then let's add some shadows so that it has some effects that it was popping out. Then we'll add some slicers. So first it was the year. So we'll just add the date. So we have some multiple selections of date slicers. We can use this one with a ruler, or we can use a dynamic or relative slicer before which date are you a specific date that you want. We also have after, and what else? A list, which we rarely do for a date because it's too much. Then we also have drop down. Also for a date, it is not advisable because it's still too much. It just saves you a space, but it won't give you those easiness for the user. Relative date also can be used. What data are you do you want to the dashboard to reflect? Should it be the last something days, weeks, whatever selection you want, and time. So if you want to be more specific, by the last hour, minutes, and so on and so forth. But for this instance, we can use the between instead for now. We'll retain this default date filter. Let's try to add some text. Do we have a padding margin? Yeah, right, left. So 5, 15. Okay. What else? So we need a product. So they also have those selection. We can also do drop down to save space, or we can also do a list. But also we can use the same like this one. So we can have it horizontal and put it, for example, above our selection. What else? Customer acquisition and state. Again, another slicer. Oops. Customer acquisition. Let's do the same. I should have copied the product. So what's the height? It's 62. Let's have it 60. Another room for the states. And we will do the same, but we won't do a one-liner selection, but maybe two. No, it's not good. Let's see. Let's put this here instead. Yeah, I think this will work. I think that will work. So what we can do is to group it on the selection pane. So let's have the selection pane here. And let's group all those elements that we've added into one. We will name it filter. Filter. So normally this slicers for product, state, and customer acquisition is optional in Power BI because those categories were already available here. For example, you have the list of products here. In Power BI, this axis of categories are clickable or can be used as a slicer also. So when we click product one, all the data in Power BI or all the data in your table will be filtered out based on the selection that you have. So if you want to show product one and product four for your visuals, you need to control and select the other product that you want to reflect. So I forgot to do the title trick here. Okay. And same for this customer acquisition. So you can do organic and all will be based on organic acquisition, add, and returning. So just click outside the graph so that it will revert back to the original one. Same with the state. These states can be selected individually. So for South Carolina, we can filter those one out also. So if you want to show the default filter for this kind of interaction will be highlighting the elements based on the overall. So as you can see, the highlighted was 128 and CSAT rate for high was 996. So for us to be able to filter it out instead, we can use the format and edit interaction. So selecting this visual, we can use the filter to interact with from this visual to this one when we click a certain specific element. So that's how you edit the interaction for Power BI. Then back to the filter um, page or filter menu that we have. So currently it's hidden in here. So what we can do is maybe insert an image again, some sort of icon. So currently, this is the only one that I have. Please bear with me for this one. This is the only, it's so dark. We need to add a shape. So for this one, we'll make the round edge so that we have some separation between the visuals and the filter. So let's have it in this corner. So I change it so that this image will be in front of the shape, as you can see here. Then we'll try to group this one also. No, no need. Then we will use bookmarks. So this is one of the advantage when using Power BI. You can have these bookmarks on your reports. So what it will do is, first, this is the basic uh, view that we have. So we'll, no, let's delete it first. We'll bookmark the menu or filter page first. Oops. So we'll select the filter group. So you can move all those filter groups without selecting them, without selecting each element. Maybe we'll use a different color for this one because it's like the same as what we have on the background. Maybe a gray one. And then yeah, I think this one. So next we'll add the bookmark. So this will be filter on. And we'll uncheck the data and update. Oops. Then we'll hide it again and add the bookmark for filter off. But for this one, we need to check the data because this is a filter. Maybe we can do for both. And then let's try to unhide it again and have a button for hiding those um, filters again. Hide filters. And then we will add it on the group. So you'll just need to drag it in here. Then it will be part of the group. Now we will assign the action for those bookmarks that we have. But first, let's try it out first. Filter off, filter on. So we'll assign the bookmark for filter off on the side filters. Then select bookmark and choose filter off. Then for this one, so you can add bookmark again and select filter on. So now let's test it out. To test out in Power BI Desktop, you need to click the control first, then press the control first, then click. Then again, control, click. So you can select the products here, certain products, product tree, from maybe only Florida. So let's wait for it to load. Then maybe second half of the year from 2017 June or whatever period that you want. And now let's hide the filter. Mm. It reverted back to the original one. So I should have unchecked the data. Sorry for that. Because the data will revert back to what it was, what we have bookmarked from the reset. But if we uncheck the data, once we select a certain filter, it will just hide the visuals. So it will just have some interaction instead of reverting back the original data that we had. So let's try it again. So currently I have unchecked the data and then maybe another update just to make sure that it was saved. Then let's try it again. Filter it. Let's try to get the filter. If check it out. My computer is somewhat slow. Control click. What's happening? Let's try it again. Update, filter on, then hide, filter off, update. Let's test it out again. And off. Let's see the action. It's filter on. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's try it again. Filter on, then we will select only organic, for example. And maybe Florida and North Carolina. So we can do multiple select here. So let's wait for it to be loaded. So I think it's good now. Then hide the filter. Now it gives us those data without reverting back to the original one. So now we can analyze the data based on the filters that we wanted. So that's how you can replicate an Excel dashboard and convert it into a Power BI dashboard or visual. So if you think this will be a very big leap for your company if you are still using Excel and you want to transition in Power BI, please do reach out to me if you need some assistance for it. And if you learn some tips and tricks for today, just click like and subscribe below so you will have some more videos in the future to follow. And thank you and goodbye.